There I was sitting in a bright red tattoo chair getting ready for my first tattoo. I was barely 18 years old and started to wonder why this type of art had become so popular. It seemed to be a fun idea then, and my palms got sweaty and my heart started racing. As I looked around the room, I see pictures of other people's art, all very different from each other, wondering what their motivation was for each piece. Many people for centuries have adopted this practice, all for varying reasons. Today I am going to inform you on the history and origins of tattooing and their purpose in cultures worldwide. We will also discover what drives people in their selection process, how body art is used today. Some of you may know when tattooing originated, may not know when tattooing originated. The purpose of this speech is to help shed a little light as to why this popular phenomenon became to be, as well as how it has evolved into the body art that we know of as today. There may also be some of you that know a lot about tattoos. You may also have a few yourselves. Each person is different in their selection of a tattoo and the placement on their body. In this speech, you will also learn about the history and culture of the first tattoos on record, and had definitely proved to be a shock to me. Personally, I have many tattoos on many places on my body, some from when I was young and some from several from more recent years. We will also learn about stereotyping from my artwork. My tattoo artist, Mike Munster, has done a lot of my work and has seen people from all walks of life come into his shop and request ink in different places for different meanings in his 8 years in the industry. We will begin to cover origins, various cultures, and current traditions of body art. Body art from the beginning. The first discovered tattoo was found on the body of an Iceman 5,200 years old. His name was Otzi. He was discovered in 1991 in the Ötztal Alps. When specialist Don Brothman examined his remains, he discovered over 58 carbon tattoos placed all over his body. Most of the markings were short parallel and vertical lines all over his joints, and it was thought that these tattoos were used for therapeutic purposes to treat joint discomfort. The purpose of tattoos varies among different cultures. Most generally, they were shown to be social status and royalty. However, Japanese would only mark on convicted criminals. If caught doing something against the law, they would add one mark to the forehead. Second offense, one more was added. On the third offense, a third and final dot was added, making the Japanese symbol for a dog, and then they were eliminated. Most often back in the ancient tattooing times, they used stone and bone and wood ground to a fine point and either dipped in ink before the skin was pierced, or they used the tool to scratch the skin and then rub the ink in. It has become apparent thus far in this speech that body art varies across cultures and countries. Now let's break down and look at a few variations between each cultures. The Polynesian culture were very sophisticated. Were very sophisticated when it came to tattooing. They would continually add intricate and sophistical geometrical shapes until the entire body was covered. The Greeks and Romans used it to identify criminals if they tried to escape. The Romans adopted the practices from the Greeks in the late antiquity, when the Roman army consisted largely of soldiers willing to engage in armed conflict. They were also marked to identify deserters of the Roman army. Japanese tattooing was originally used as a form of punishment to identify criminals as soon as the practice was established in the early 14th century. These criminals started adopting the intricate and sophisticated designs from the Romans to conceal these marks and secure their fate if a crime was committed once more. Now established the importance of tattooing among various cultures, now let's look at tattooing and body art across the American culture currently. Currently, tattooing is a rapidly expanding industry in America. Surveys have shown that 24% of Americans have a tattoo. It's getting harder and harder to find individuals that do not have some sort of ink on their bodies. In today's society, it has evolved into a fad that most kids can't wait to do when they're 18 and legally able to make up their own mind and embark on the practices of American body art. Some people use body art to display family history. My family history is something that is very important to me, and I have chose to have a tattoo designed to display my pride and my heritage. This signifies the pride and struggles that my family endured becoming Dutch Americans. There are also some cases of our youth that get inked for rebellion against authority. Current methods used are vastly different from past practices. We have many regulations to monitor infectious diseases and sterility so that these are not passed from person to person. Tattoo artists must complete certifications on infectious disease isolation. Most tattoo shops use autoclaving, which is a high-pressure steam that disintegrates bacteria and bloodborne illnesses. This reduces the risk of contracting these illnesses when getting body art, says my tattoo artist Mike Munster. Personal opinions and stereotyping is quite typical in modern-day body art. Another important factor in today's society can be those that do not have tattoos are against defacing one's body, might have negative opinions about those who do. It is not for one person to decide what is right or wrong, but to respect each other as individuals. I personally have many tattoos. In fact, I added to my collection last week. It was great to learn from a credible tattoo artist about what and how some of these common practices came to be. For me personally, tattooing is a beautiful form of self-expression. Every one of my tattoos has special meaning and is a great way for others to see what is important to me. Now that we have looked at the history of body art among many cultures, you have a better understanding of how this practice came to be and the evolution of body art across the centuries. The bright summer day that I sat in that chair waiting for my very first tattoo, even though I was going with a fad, has forever changed my life. Body art is a very important part of my life. It is therapeutic in the sense that I have thoughts and feelings and emotions and important aspects to my life that I will forever hold close to my heart and of course in my skin. I will leave you with this. Our life is not measured by the amount of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away.